Hey everyone. We talk a lot about making AI smarter, and we usually think that just means cranking up its performance. But what if I told you that in trying to make an AI better at one thing, we've actually been making it, well, less capable overall? It sounds crazy, right? Today, we're diving into some incredible research that uncovers this hidden problem and, even better, gives us a really clever solution for teaching AI how to genuinely learn, not just think harder.
So the whole thing kicks off with this massive question. How do we make AI truly smarter? And we're not just talking about helping it refine the skills it already has, to get the right answer a bit more often. No, this is about something deeper. It's about pushing an AI to develop genuinely new ways of reasoning, to solve problems it literally couldn't solve before. How do you get it to break past its own built-in limits?
To get their heads around this challenge, the researchers actually looked back to the philosopher Confucius. He had this great line: "If one thinks but does not learn from others, one will be in peril." And they applied that idea directly to AI. So thinking, that's what they call inward exploitation. It's just getting better and better with the knowledge you already have. But learning, that's outward exploration, going out and getting brand new knowledge. And just like us, the best AIs need a healthy balance of both.
Okay, so one of the hottest techniques for improving AI reasoning right now is something called reinforcement learning with verifiable reward, or RLVR. The idea is pretty simple, really. You give the AI a tough math problem. If it gets the final answer right, boom, it gets a reward. And that process should train it to get better at reasoning. But, and this is a big but, it creates a really, really weird side effect.
So you take your standard AI model and you train it up with this fancy RLVR method. And when you first look at the results, you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. This chart here shows the score for getting the problem right on the very first try. And you can see the trained model, the one labeled GRPO, it's clearly better than the original base model. It's a win, right? Case closed?
Well, not so fast, because this is where things get strange. When you give the models more shots at the problem, 128 tries to be exact, something totally unexpected happens. All of a sudden, the original, supposedly dumber base model actually starts doing better than the newly trained one. Think about that. The trained model got better at its first guess, but its overall ability to explore different solutions actually shrank.
And, yep, there's a name for this bizarre situation: capability boundary collapse. It's this phenomenon where making an AI better at a very specific task actually ends up shrinking its overall toolkit of skills. The AI is basically optimizing itself into a corner, becoming a bit of a one-trick pony.
So the million-dollar question is, why? Why does this collapse happen? It brings us right back to that idea of thinking versus learning. The AI becomes a master at thinking. It gets amazing at refining and using the reasoning paths it already knows. But it becomes absolutely terrible at learning, at exploring new, creative, out-of-the-box ways to find a solution.
And here's the real heart of the problem. For a long, complicated math problem, the AI only gets a reward if the entire chain of thought is perfect. So imagine it tries a totally new, creative approach, but makes one tiny mistake on step 17 out of 20. What happens? It gets zero reward. Nothing. So what's the AI going to do? It's going to play it safe. It sticks to the boring, tried-and-true methods it already knows, just reinforcing its old habits instead of discovering anything new.
This is the exact problem that researchers at Peking University and Alibaba Group decided to tackle. And their solution is this new approach they call RL+. It's designed specifically to break the AI out of this trap, to teach it how to both think and learn together.
So at a high level, RL Plus is a hybrid. It's not just relying on the AI to figure things out on its own through trial and error. Instead, it intelligently combines the model's own internal digging with learning from outside data. In this case, a whole bunch of examples of correct solutions. It creates this awesome synergy between using what it knows and learning what it doesn't. So how does it actually pull off this delicate balancing act? Well, the whole method is built on two core technical tricks that work together perfectly.
Okay, first, it learns from others, but it does it in a really stable way. It uses a clever technique that lets it absorb new strategies from all those external examples without totally confusing the model or throwing it off course. And second, and this part is just genius, it actually rewards the road less traveled. It uses a special function that cranks up the reward for solutions that are correct, but that the AI initially thought were super unlikely. It basically forces the AI to pay attention to these creative, correct answers it would have otherwise just ignored.
The theory is all well and good. It sounds elegant, but the real question is, does it actually work? This is where we get to the fun part. Let's look at the numbers, because the proof is in the pudding.
And the results are, well, they're fantastic. Across a whole bunch of really tough math reasoning tests, RL Plus just knocks it out of the park. You can see the average score right here. RL Plus hits 53.4. That's a massive jump from the base model's 19, and it's even a solid step up from the previous best approach, which was at 48.2.
And just to put a big flashy number on it, the paper points out that RL Plus delivered average performance improvements of up to 69.2% over the standard methods. I mean, come on, that isn't just a small tweak. That is a fundamental leap forward.
And this is the real kicker, it completely solves that core problem we started with. Remember that capability collapse chart? Well, here it is again, but this time with RL Plus in the mix. Not only does it start out on top, but its performance just keeps climbing, staying way above everybody else even after 128 attempts. The collapse is gone. It created a model that is both sharper and has a much bigger imagination. But honestly, this might be the most powerful piece of evidence of all. See, the model was trained only on math problems, but when the researchers threw completely different subjects at it, like computer programming and graduate-level science questions, the superior reasoning ability transferred over. RL Plus crushed the other methods even on tasks it had never seen before. And that tells you it didn't just learn a few math tricks, it learned how to reason more deeply. So what does all this mean? What's the ultimate takeaway here? Well, this breakthrough is about way more than just getting higher scores on some leaderboard. It really points to a whole new way of thinking about how we build and train AI. I think this quote from the paper's conclusion just says it all perfectly. RL Plus doesn't just fine-tune what the AI already knows how to do. It effectively breaks through the capability boundary of the base model. It's not just tuning the engine. It is fundamentally upgrading it, allowing the AI to become so much more than what it started as. And that leaves us with one last, really provocative question to think about. For so long, the game has been about squeezing every last drop of performance out of a model's existing knowledge. But if this research shows us that AI can truly learn and expand beyond its initial programming, what's the next boundary to fall? What incredible new abilities, things we probably can't even imagine today, are suddenly within our reach?